Hello everyone, thank you for coming to the event. My name is Sangbin Park. I'm a migration agent in Australia, Melbourne. I'm working for a migration company, Cocos Migration Services in Australia. We have two offices. We're supporting migration services in Australia, one in Melbourne, one in Brisbane. I'm based in Melbourne office, and then I'm supporting all of our clients from interstate and also offshore as well. So today I'm going to introduce some information about Australia migration systems. And many of you are looking for study in Australia and applying for a possibly permanent residency visa or some further stay in Australia. I'm trying to giving you some good information today, but as you know, the migration law is broad, the migration system in Australia. So you may not know all detailed information today. However, you will know some certain big, major, important requirements and possible visa options in the future. I'm going to show the presentation file here, which is now showing. Okay, the migration law in Australia is keep changing all the time. So you already heard many stories. There is big changes last year, before last year, and few years ago. Why the migration law is changing all the time? Because migration law is not giving all opportunity for every applicant. It means there are large number of applications is the increasing every year. So they need to do something for the migration law and then put more difficult requirements than reducing application number because they granted too many the visa applications already, then they have no idea how to control it, then they made difficult requirement every single time. Okay, so there are a number of different visa options in Australia after you finish the study. So first thing you can do is you can apply for the graduate visa, which allow you stay minimum 1.5 years or maximum 4 years in Australia. So what you can do with this visa is you can do whatever you want. Basically, there is no restrictions at all. You can study, you can work, you can just have some holiday during that visa. However, this graduate visa is only available once in your lifetime as a primary applicant. So with you going into certain further stay visas, such as these general skilled migration visas or employer-sponsored visas, you probably need to use this 485 graduate visa when you really need to extend your stay and prepare for the next step visas. If you are going to get permanent residency in Australia with your skills and study, your English, your experience, whatever you have, then definitely you have only two visa options. One is graduate skilled migration and the other one is employer-sponsored visa. So if you have a look, these subclasses numbers here, then you may have some ideas in the future when you talking about the visa options and talk about these numbers, then you can know, okay, I'm going to apply this type visa or that type visa and what's the requirement things. So you don't need to remember all numbers and names. However, just to be familiar with these numbers, then you will know something in the future. Okay, 485 graduate visa. So this is the first step you can do after graduate. So basically, you must be under 50 years old of age when you apply this visa, and also you must held a eligible visa, meaning it's a student visa minimum 6 months before applying for the 485, at least 1 day. Otherwise, you cannot apply it. So the other thing is the CRI course registry course. You must finish a or more than a course in Australia, and all courses must be registered in CRI course. So it means you studied a course or more than a course is for the international student. And also you must meet English language requirement, which is the average 6.0, each band minimum 5.0. And there are two other streams, so you need to meet one of their additional requirements. And you can apply this visa only available within 6 months from the course completion. So once your course completed, you have 6 months time to apply for a visa. However, you cannot apply this visa offshore, meaning that you must be in Australia when you're applying this visa. So if you completing course and then your student visa is already expired, then you are going back home country, then you need to come back to Australia with another visa to applying this visa. This Australian study requirement is minimum thing you must meet to applying for the 4A5. So the course must be minimum 2 years, the registered course, and you must finish this course within 16 calendar months. No, minimum 16 calendar months. Meaning is if you finish the course, this 2 years academic years, the registered course, but you finished within 14 months, 15 months, then you won't be eligible to apply this visa. So your course is minimum 92 weeks, 2 years academic years, registered course, and must finish the minimum 16 calendar months. Also, you need to provide this English score. The immigration accepting any kind of those English score if it's done within last 3 years. So you have IELTS or PTE or maybe Cambridge. If you have this score, you will be eligible to this visa, and visa will be granted based on this English requirement. There are two streams available after graduate. So this graduate work stream is original for A5, and this post work stream is started from about 2012. So what's different? Okay, this post-study work stream, there is no occupation list, meaning that you can apply this stream with any kind of qualification or field of study. But you must meet level of study. The qualification, eligible qualification, meaning that you must finish at least bachelor degree or higher. So if you finish only diploma program or certificate program, you won't be able to reach this post-study work stream. Those cases going into this graduate work stream. That case, the occupation must be in MLTSSL, meaning that your occupation must be in this occupation list, and you need to get through this skill assessment. If you don't have this, then you won't be able to reach this 4A5 visa. So your skill is important, and also your skill assessment is important as well. And if you apply for this PSW stream, you never ever applied any student visa before 5th of November 2011. If you had applied any student visa before this date, then you won't be eligible to apply for the PSW, and you didn't have applied anything before this date, then you will be eligible to receive PSW. Then you must complete minimum bachelor degree or higher, of course, minimum 2 years. Oh, one more thing here. This graduate work stream is once granted, you will be you can stay here for 1.5 year, 18 months. And if you get this visa through the PSW stream, then the visa can be minimum 2 years, maximum 4 years. It depends on level of the qualification, and also there is additional this PSW 4A5 visa option after 2 years if you meet certain requirements from next year. Okay. If you already hold the 4A5 and then you prepared for the next step for the PR or whatever things, then definitely you need to find a visa within these 6 visa options. First 3 visa options are general skill migration, meaning that you are using your skills and your experience and also your English point. And if you are using your skills based on your work experience, and then your company in Australia, employer is sponsoring you, then you can go through one of these 3 visa steps as well. Each of the subclasses has own the skill list, I mean the occupation list. So what you need to know is you need to find this and each occupation list depends on your chosen subclasses. So if you are thinking about going to apply for a 189, the independent skill migration, then definitely you need to find this MLT SSL for the 189. If you are thinking applying for the 190, the stake up onto nominated skill migration, then definitely you need to find this combined list with the MLT and STSOL for the 190. If you are going to apply for the 482, then definitely you need to find this MLT SSL for the middle term and this STSOL for the short term and this ROL for the regional occupation. So all different subclasses has own occupation list. So you need to find different occupation lists for the different subclasses. This EOI system, you must do through when you're applying for the GSM, the skill migration visa options. So without the invitation from the this EOI, you are not able to launch that visa application. So you must get an invitation from the EOI before you apply for a visa. For example, you study 2 years in Australia and applying for the 485, so staying here 2 years, another 2 years with the 485 graduate visa, then you waiting for this EOI invitation. However, before expiring of that 485, you haven't got the invitation, meaning you need to go back home or you need to apply another visa to stay in Australia. If you get this invitation before expiring of your current visa, then definitely you can apply for a visa onshore, then you can stay here until the new visa application is finalized. Okay, this EOI is computer-based the application system. So there's no fee, there's no document required, then everything you can do yourself if you want. Okay. Some people willing to get that invitation as soon as possible, so they making additional point themselves, such as the higher English point, the longer working experience or something else. Then the point will be much higher than actual point. Then get the invitation and applying for a visa, then obviously the officer will find out your information on the EOI is not correct, then the visa application must be refused. So when you're applying for this EOI application, you must use all correct updated information only. This application valid for 2 years. So if you cannot get any invitation within these 2 years, then this application will be automatically just changed. Then you need to launch another one again. They are giving the invitation once a month at this moment. So for the 189, the currently the invitation number per month is minimum 100, maximum maybe 2,000, I guess. Yeah, because last 6-7 months is only once is over 2,000, and the other time is 1,000, 1,100, 500 was a couple of times, and more than 4-5 times was only 100 or 200 max. So if this ticket number is low, then obviously this requiring point is higher. And this number is higher, invitation number is higher, then definitely this point will be dropped down. And okay, go to next one. All right. 189, you must have the invitation. 189, using your own skill only, because there's no nomination or any other support from others. So you must use your own skills, your points only. So that's why this EOI system is requiring higher point for this 189 to comparing each other. 190 or 491, you need to get the sponsorship nomination from the state government or maybe family members. However, this is state government sponsorship nomination. is based on the different state government's own the selection procedure. So it means the EOI system itself is not controlling anything. So state government has every power to giving you a nomination or not. So once they give you a nomination for the 190 or 491, then you will be able to launch a visa for the 190 or 491. 190 is the permanent residence visa, so definitely you would like to go ahead with this 190. However, currently the government is pushing more people into this 491 into the regional area. So it's just started November last year to put more people into this regional area, but it will be more popular in the future. So when you graduate in new courses in Australia, there are more chances to get the additional visas or more easier visas in regional area. So if you are planning to go to Australia to study new courses within regional area, then you would like to think about these kind of visa options in the future. Okay, this the occupation list is all different. So you need to find out where is my occupation, MLTSSL or STSOL or ROL. So you can know which subclasses you need to go through, and then maybe additional nomination from the state government or something else. You must have the skill assessment for the PR purpose, and also you must have a minimum 65 points for any of these skill migration, and also you must have that invitation. Also, you must not be 45 when you apply for any of these visa. Once you became to 45, then you are not eligible to launch any visa here. So you must be under 45 when you're applying for a visa. So if you choose your occupation, and you need to know whether you meet the requirement for that skills or not. So how they know you have that skills in that nominated occupation, that's always through that skill assessment. So some occupations, you just apply for a skill assessment based on your qualification or qualification plus the English requirement, or sometimes requiring this kind of registration. So any kind of health area, the people must be registered in the right, correct, the work field. Then they need to go through this registration before applying for a skill assessment. So skill assessment authority is the requiring this registration first. So once you graduate, first thing you need to be registered. Then you're applying for a skill migration, skill assessment to the proper, the selected the authority. This English requirement for this registration is a bit different from the immigration requirement. So some people confusing it. They meet the requirement for the registration, so they provided a certain English test result to the immigration office. But that English score is not fit into that English requirement from the immigration, then of course visa application will be failed. So that's why you need to know what's the requirement for this registration, and also what's the requirement for the immigration, the visa options. So you need to use maybe different two the English results, one for the registration, one for the immigration. Whichever is easier for you to go through, then you can use it. Other occupations such as accounting or IT or engineering, they just need to through another authority, because different occupations are assessed from the different authority. So for example, this CPA Australia, they are requiring, of course, qualification for the accountant, then also this IELTS each 7.0 or completing the PY program. ICS is for the IT area, then they requiring based the minimum qualification, of course, and also additional 1 year relevant work experience. So once you finish the course, you cannot get through that skill assessment directly. You must finish this 1 year experience or 1 year professional year. So if you're comparing these kind of differences, so if you want to get that skill assessment after graduate the new courses in Australia directly, then you must choose accountant or engineering other than the IT. If you choose IT, then definitely you need to think about after graduate, you must have at least 1 year to completing 12 months work experience or PY program. If we choose any courses within this kind of the trade person's work, such as cook, chef, hairdressing, any kind of those the skills, then you need to go through this the TRA skill assessment. Their general skill assessment for the any kind of the PR purpose is recurring minimum qualification plus minimum 3 years of full-time experience. However, this job-ready program requiring only 12 months, much shorter work experience after graduate. This job-ready program is available for the only someone studied in Australia for 2 years in the field and holding the 4A5. And it's taking minimum 12 months, so that's why the 4A5 must be valid for more than 12 months. Once you finish that skill assessment, then that time is the time you can think about this point system. So GSM is recurring through this point system, and if you are applying for 1A9, then definitely you need to have a higher point, minimum around 90, 95 now. Or if you choose 190 or 491, then you just need to make 65 points. So you can go through this age point and English point and qualification, your highest qualification anywhere in the world. Only one qualification can be used. And if you have that, the interpreting test passed, then you can have this 5 points. Your skills in Australia, 20 hours per week for 12 months is 5 points. And out of Australia, minimum 3 years, then you can have the 5 points. If you finish 2 years course in Australia, minimum 5 points. And during that time you are in regional area, then additional 5 points. If you finish a accounting, IT, or engineering program, then you can apply for this PY program for 12 months, then get the 5 points. Additional points. So if your base point is not good enough, then you may adding up additional point from here. So already told you about the PY program and the interpreting test, and also the work experience. And obviously this English, the ability, the language test is a highest point to you adding up. Because the other point are increasing 5 points based, but this one is increasing 10 points. So once you going up next level, you can get the 10 point. And if you go to the highest the level, then you can get the additional 10 points, so total 20 points. So this is kind of the maximizing your point. And another point is study regional area. So if you are going to choose study in certain area, then you may think about this additional regional point. So if you choose to study not Sydney, not Melbourne, not Brisbane, you can get this 5 point. If you are single or your partner is an Australian citizen or permanent resident, then you can have this 10 point. If you have a partner and then the partner has the IELTS 6.0, then you can have the 5 point. And if your partner has the PR purpose skill assessment as well in the listed occupation, then can get the full 10 mark as well. If you get the nomination from state government for the 190, you can get 5 points. And 491, then you can get the 15 points. So this obvious difference is 10 points is the region. I already told you the regional sponsored visa will be another option in the future, because if you making only 50 points, with this 15 additional points, you can make a 65 points to get through the 491. So if your point is not going high up, then you may think about this 491 option. All right, so English test, the minimum each 6 for the IELTS is the minimum. So you must have this point at least. And if you adding up each section 1 point, then go to the 10 point or 20 point. So if you are not really good at this IELTS, you may think about this PTE test. Some people do the OET if your study or work field is in the medicine area, health science area. However, this test is bit limited time you can do it, or it's bit expensive, or it's bit difficult, or anyway, there is not many resources to prepare for this OET test yet. So that's why many people just choosing the PTE or IELTS, more easy to access. All right, state government nomination. So once you choose 190 or 491, you must have the nomination from the state government. Each state government has a different requirement. So what you need to know here, not all detailed things, just you need to choose a certain area, the state government, if you want to go through one of these options. Before you start your study, you may think about what's the visa option. And the visa option is within here, then you may think about which state government is more generous for your occupation, because each state government is requiring different occupation or skills or any kind of the requirement. So you need to know something. After that, you choose the occupation, and when you choose the location. Or once you finish the course, maybe you can choose the location. If you want to think about this 491, then you may go to the certain area and finding job, and then you may be eligible to receive one of these, the state government nomination. If you think about the 190, definitely you need to prepare before you start the course, because many state government are only accepting someone studied in their state and working for a nominated occupation in their state. So you need to know before applying for a visa, I mean the student visa, you should choose a state government for the 190. If you cannot get through any of that skill migration options, then definitely this is the last option you can go through, employer-sponsored visa. Some people not choosing go through the GSM and directly go to this employer-sponsored visa. However, these visa schemes taking longer time than the GSM. But good thing is just requiring base English score like a 6.0 or 7.0 for the different occupations. Then only requirement is sponsor, your employer, and also certain year of the work experience. So this 1A6 ENS is the best option, because this one is only PR now, and you can go through this visa option, means that's the shortest time you can get the PR through this employer-sponsored visa. Final stage to getting into this 1A6 or 494, this type of visa, you must have a IELTS-based each band 6.0. If you go through this 482 temporary sponsored visa, you may requiring each band is 5.0 or overall 5.0. And each subclasses accessing combination of this occupation list. 1A6 require using this MLT-SSL only. So if your occupation is not in MLT-SSL, then if you choose 482 and go to the ENS, definitely you cannot apply for a ENS anywhere in Australia if the occupation is not in the MLT-SSL. If your occupation is STSOL, then definitely you need to find a sponsor in regional area to go through this 494 option after 482. Okay, how to use those kind of visas? This 482 requiring only 2 years minimum working experience. So that's why the people easy to get into this 482 after finish course and having the 2 years work experience and applying for a visa. Once you're getting into 482, there are two options. First one, if your occupation is in the ENS MLT SSL list, then you can go through ENS option, or you need to go to this, not the RSMS now, its previous name. Now it's SESR, the 494 visa options. This 494 visa is same as this 491. Why it's the same? Because they are all regional visa now, and once you apply granted this visa 491 or 494, both are valid for 5 years, and you must living in regional area for minimum 3 years and working full-time 3 years and meet a certain wage requirement, then you can apply for 191 PR visa after that. So that's why this 494 and the 491 are quite similar, and then similar way to going into the PR pathway. Any of these visas requiring minimum wage is doesn't really matter what kind of job you're holding, just is $53,900 at this moment. So if your wage is lower than this one, it's not able to get this visa. So your wage must be over this rate, and it can be changed in time in the future. If you're holding the 482 for 3 years and your employer supporting you applying for this ENS TRT stream, that time you don't need to provide the skill assessment. But if you going into this 186 direct entry, then you must hold the skill assessment. So someone is not able to get this skill assessment, then they choose go through this 482 TRT stream. So that case is just holding the IELTS each 6 English test points, and also holding completing that 3 years work experience in the company with this 482 visa, then can apply for the ENS TRT option. However, the occupation must be in the MLT SSL list. So if someone wish to shorter applying for this ENS visa, then ENS direct entry stream is the best option. The occupation must be in the MLT list now, because the combination this list can be used for the certain previous visa type only, and now it's only for the MLT SSL. So the occupation must be in the MLC SSL and must hold the positive skill assessment result and must have the full-time 3 years work experience and IELTS 6.0. Then that's the minimum thing you must meet to apply for this visa. If you're going into this regional visa 494, then obviously you should have a similar like ENS, full-time 3 years work experience, skill assessment, and IELTS 6.0, and the employment and employer must be in regional area as well. Each visa has different streams, so you may know which stream you can go through, but you don't need to know now because it's too complicated. So what you need to know is, anyway, different visa has different streams, then different streams has a different pathway. So you may choose different combination in here, then you may meet certain requirement in the future. Just so you should know, to apply for the employer sponsored visa, you must find a job, and your sponsor, your employer, must highly willing to sponsor you for this visa, because anyway, this kind of the visa schemes requiring quite strong effort from the employer. They need to provide the financial document and or operational document and other information to the government. And sometimes the government is monitoring this company for many years. So certain the employers not really willing to sponsor you. However, if you are a good worker and then employer is really willing to keep you for a longer time, then possibly you can go through one of these visa options here. Okay, this is one of that stream here we call the labor agreement. This labor agreement is some sort of additional agreement between company and the government. So the government allow the company can access additional occupation or the little bit easier requirement for different situation. This DAMA is one of that the labor agreement stream, and this one is involving regional government. So regional state government are holding another agreement with that the immigration office, the federal government, and if the company meets certain requirements through this regional state government, then they can apply for this labor agreement through this DAMA scheme. This one giving additional occupations and certain concessions and something else. However, only limited area is available for these visa schemes, and the company need to meet certain additional requirements. So that's why this one is not always available. However, if you are working or studying in this certain area in Australia, you may be eligible to this DAMA if you and your company meet certain requirements. Right now, the Australian government pushing more people into the regional area. So that's why they changed some visas November last year, and the non-new subclasses is changing subclasses from previous one. However, this new visa subclasses 491 and 494 can keep people into the regional area for a longer time and go to the DMDs 191 common resident visa after 3 years of stay. So these kind of things are all good sign. If you're going into the regional area, possibly you can have more chances. Also, if you study in regional area for 2 years and holding that 485 graduate visa for 2 years, during that time you stayed in the regional area again, then you can apply additional 1 year 485 as well. Why it's good? Maybe you can have 2 years of work experience during the 2 years 485 graduate visa. And if you're adding a 1 more year, then you can make full-time 3 years work experience. Then if you have employer who gonna sponsor you and you have a skill assessment, maybe you can eligible to route ENS direct entry, or you meet you making the additional point and you have that the EOI invitation, maybe you can applying for the 190 or 189 or other visa options as well. Okay, after study 2 years in Australia, there are a number of different options you can choose. But for example, 485 this is kind of you must apply for it. However, you need to make really good decision when you're gonna use it, because if you use it too early, then later you must have this 485 to meet the other requirement, but you cannot make it. So when you're applying for the 485, you must think about that this is the right time before you're going into the next stage, or this time just extending your stay. Then if you just need to extend your stay, maybe you can apply for another visa, such as a student visa or something else. And the best option for the PR is always GSM, General Skill Migration. You must know that occupation list, and you must hold the skill assessment and recurring the English score things. If you cannot get through this GSM, and definitely this sponsorship, employer sponsored visa are the final option. You must have a minimum 2 years work experience going into this 482 and minimum 3 years for this 186 or 494. You just requiring IELTS 6.0. However, certain occupations requiring higher IELTS score because they need the registration things, then they may need additional IELTS or English test result as well. So if you are not going into any of these visa, but you're gonna stay in Australia further, then there are only option, maybe student visa. If you choose a tourist visa, you can stay additional couple of months. However, there's no work permit allowed it, and there's no other options after that. So definitely you're gonna apply for the student visa to stay in Australia further, and holding the work permit and looking for the another visa options in the future. Or after that student visa, you may be eligible to route to 485 again, then you route to this visa to make sure you can go to the another visa after that. Okay, this is my last the seminar, the presentation page. So thank you for the seminar today. Mostly I'm joining that event myself, and I'm giving all the answers and information myself, but this time is a bit different from previous year due to that the virus matters. So I cannot be there, but I'm sending you this video file. Hopefully this information helping you to choosing your course in the future, and then maybe you can finding out looking for the further information in the future in Australia, and maybe you can contact us again, then we can give you further information or consultation for the depends on your the situation at the time. Thank you for the seminar, and if I can have any other questions, maybe we can answer in the future through our education team or maybe myself. Thank you.